What if you could change the course of your entire life in just 1 week? Imagine waking up 7 days from now, not only feeling renewed but equipped with the tools to handle any challenge life throws at you. The wisdom of Stoicism offers that key to transformation for centuries. But great minds like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca have mastered the art of control over thoughts, emotions, and ultimately, life itself. With their guidance, you too can navigate the complexities of existence with grace and purpose. In this journey, we will explore how a simple shift in mindset can lead to profound changes in your actions, reactions, and the way you face the world. This is not mere motivation, this is Stoic practice in action. Are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment? Let's unlock your potential and change your life for the better, one Stoic principle at a time. Day 1, mastering the pause, the foundation of Stoic power. Imagine having the ability to control your reactions to any situation, entirely being able to choose your response, no matter how challenging the circumstances. This idea lies at the core of Stoicism, particularly through the concept of the pause. The pause represents the brief moment between something happening to you and how you decide to react to it. It is a small but powerful space that can change everything. By mastering this practice, you gain the ability to take charge of your emotions, reactions, and ultimately your life. In Stoic philosophy, the pause is not just about hesitation but is viewed as the most effective tool for achieving self-mastery. Every time an event occurs, whether it's an external situation or an internal thought, you have a fleeting moment where you can choose your reaction. In this gap between what happens and how you respond lies your true power. While emotions may naturally arise, anger, frustration, or fear, the pause allows you to disconnect from these immediate feelings and reclaim control over your actions. Why is this pause so crucial? Emotions often obscure clear thinking, pushing us toward impulsive actions we might later regret. The pause interrupts this automatic emotional response, allowing your rational mind to step in. It creates space for reflection and objective analysis, free from the cloud of heightened emotions. Wisdom is born in this space where, instead of reacting impulsively, you can evaluate situations calmly and decide the best course of action. To see this in action, imagine a common scenario: receiving unexpected and harsh criticism from a colleague or supervisor at work. Naturally, your instinct might push you to defend yourself, argue back, or allow anger to dominate the interaction. But what if, in that heated moment, you paused instead? As soon as the criticism lands, you feel a surge of frustration, maybe even embarrassment. Before you speak or act, you take a deep breath and consciously pause for 5 seconds. In this brief silence, you recognize that the criticism, whether justified or not, is external to you. What truly matters is not the words themselves, but how you choose to respond to them. By pausing, you shift from an emotional reaction to a more thoughtful and calm response, one guided by reason and clarity. Instead of reacting defensively and making the situation worse, your composed reply turns a potentially negative interaction into an opportunity for constructive conversation. Not only do you maintain your inner peace, but you also earn respect for your ability to stay composed under pressure. This is the power of the pause in action, transforming what could have been a heated exchange into a moment of learning and growth. And it's not just useful in professional settings, it applies to every aspect of life, where emotions tend to flare up and cloud our judgment. To cultivate this skill, it is essential to practice it regularly. Today, commit to pausing each time you feel a surge of emotion, whether it's frustration, anxiety, or even excitement. Start by becoming aware of your emotional triggers. Whenever you feel an emotion rising, stop immediately. The first step is simply noticing the emotion without reacting to it. Acknowledge it, recognize that you're feeling something powerful, but remind yourself not to act on it just yet. Then, mentally or out loud, count down from 5 to 1. As you count, focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. With each number, feel the tension in your body easing, the intensity of the emotion softening. By the time you reach 1, the strong wave of emotion will likely have lessened, giving you the mental clarity to respond thoughtfully. The pause provides the space for reflection, allowing you to respond instead of react. This small moment of stillness grants you control over your emotional state. Try this throughout your day in conversations, during stressful tasks, or whenever emotions start to rise. The more you practice pausing, the more natural it will become, eventually turning into your automatic response in difficult situations. At the end of the day, take time to reflect on how the pause affected your experiences. Were there moments when you almost reacted impulsively but didn't? How did pausing change the outcome? What emotions were easier to control, and which presented more difficulty? This reflection will help reinforce the value of the pause and deepen your understanding of how to apply it more effectively in the future. The pause, although seemingly small, can have a profound impact on your life. It allows you to step back from emotional impulses, make conscious decisions, and respond with wisdom. By mastering this practice, you lay the foundation for Stoic strength, a strength that keeps you grounded no matter what challenges you face. As you progress on this journey, this fundamental skill of pausing will become your anchor, helping you remain calm, collected, and in control. Today, you've taken the first step toward mastering this essential Stoic tool. Keep practicing the pause, and over time, it will become the cornerstone of your emotional and mental resilience, helping you navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Day 2, perspective shifting. See the bigger picture. Imagine standing on top of a mountain, gazing down at your entire life spread out before you. From this elevated viewpoint, things that once seemed monumental shrink into insignificance, leaving you with a newfound sense of clarity. This powerful shift in perspective is at the heart of one of Stoic philosophy's core teachings, perspective shifting. It teaches us to step back, zoom out, and view life from a broader perspective. Today, we'll explore how changing your mindset to see the bigger picture can free you from the small stresses that often dominate your life and guide you toward a more peaceful existence. In our fast-paced world, it's all too easy to get caught up in the minor annoyances that fill our days: an argument with a colleague, a stressful deadline, or financial worries. These everyday problems seem overwhelming in the moment, but in reality, they are often temporary. Stoicism reminds us that while we cannot control external events, we can always control how we respond to them. The key to gaining this control is perspective shifting, a mental practice that teaches us to view our lives from a wider lens, allowing us to see the true scale of any given situation. One of the most powerful tools within this concept is the view from above technique. This technique encourages us to imagine ourselves stepping out of our immediate environment and looking down on our lives from a higher vantage point, much like a bird soaring in the sky. From this perspective, we can observe the entirety of our existence as a series of interconnected events, rather than isolated moments. We begin to realize that many of the stresses and frustrations we experience daily are, in the grand scheme of things, relatively insignificant. Consider a common scenario: you've just had a tense argument with a colleague and emotions are running high. You're frustrated, replaying the conversation in your mind and allowing the anger to build. But now imagine applying the view from above. You pause, take a breath, and visualize yourself stepping out of the situation. From this elevated perspective, that argument becomes just a small dot in the larger landscape of your day, which is itself a small part of the overall story of your life. What once felt like a monumental event now seems trivial. This shift in perspective allows you to release the emotional weight attached to the argument, reminding you that it doesn't have the power to define your day or your life. By practicing perspective shifting, you not only gain a new way of looking at life's challenges, but you also reclaim control over your reactions to them. It's not about pretending that challenges don't exist, it's about understanding that they are just small parts of a much larger picture. When you zoom out and view your life from a broader perspective, you begin to see that many of the things causing you stress today will barely matter a week, a month, or a year from now. This realization frees you from the grip of short-term anxiety and empowers you to focus on what truly matters. The beauty of perspective shifting lies in its simplicity and its effectiveness. It doesn't require any special tools or complex techniques, just a willingness to pause, step back, and reassess the situation. This shift in mindset allows you to navigate even the most difficult moments with calm and clarity. Instead of being consumed by every small problem, you start to see them for what they really are: temporary and insignificant in the grand scope of your life. Let's take a moment to reflect on how often we let trivial issues dominate our thoughts and emotions. Whether it's frustration from being stuck in traffic or stress over an approaching deadline, we tend to magnify these moments, giving them more importance than they deserve. The next time you find yourself overwhelmed by a minor issue, try using the view from above. Pause and imagine rising above the situation, looking down on your life as a whole. How important is this problem when viewed from that perspective? How much will it matter in a month, or even a week? In most cases, you'll find that it's not as significant as it initially seemed. This practice of stepping back and seeing the bigger picture can completely transform how you handle stress. Instead of reacting impulsively and letting emotions dictate your actions, you begin to respond with wisdom and composure. Your problems don't disappear, but they no longer have control over you. You gain the clarity to focus on long-term goals and values rather than being sidetracked by momentary frustrations. The view from above isn't just a mental exercise, it's a practical tool for navigating life's ups and downs. When you shift your perspective, you reclaim your peace of mind and unlock the power to handle challenges with grace. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. While you cannot control the events of life, you can always control your response to them. Imagine how your life could change if you applied this Stoic principle every day. How much less stress would you experience if you stopped letting temporary frustrations control your emotions? By mastering perspective shifting, you free yourself from the small, nagging worries that clutter your mind. You start living with greater purpose, focusing on what truly matters in the long run. In the end, perspective shifting is about more than just changing how you think, it's about changing how you live. When you learn to view life from a broader perspective, you stop letting the little things weigh you down. You gain a deeper understanding of what's truly important, and with that understanding comes a sense of peace and empowerment. So the next time life throws a challenge your way, remember to pause, step back, and take the view from above. In doing so, you'll find that life's challenges become easier to navigate, and you'll be better equipped to focus on the bigger picture. Day 3, conquering emotions. Name, control, transform. Emotions are like wild horses. If left untamed, they will take you where you do not want to go. However, with practice, you can be the one holding the reins. On your journey to mastering Stoicism, the third day focuses on conquering emotions, a pivotal step in transforming your mindset. Stoicism views emotions not as inherently good or bad, but as forces that require recognition and control. By learning to name and manage them, you can create a space to act rationally rather than react impulsively. This practice doesn't just help you manage feelings in the moment, it changes how you approach life's challenges, making you more resilient and composed. Emotions, by their nature, can seem overwhelming. They have the power to overtake your mind, making you feel as though they are in control. But Stoicism teaches that this isn't true. The key to emotional control lies in awareness. When you're flooded with emotions, whether it's anger, fear, or joy, it's easy to feel as though you're losing grip. However, there is a simple but effective way to regain that grip by naming the emotion. Naming an emotion does more than just label it. It creates a mental distance between you and that feeling. This process helps you shift from being emotionally reactive to being rational and deliberate in your actions. Why does naming work? When you name your emotion, you force your brain to move from the emotional part to the more analytical, reasoning part. By doing this, you begin to see the emotion for what it truly is: a temporary state that does not define or control you. Once named, the emotion becomes something specific and tangible, rather than a vague, overwhelming force. You can then confront it clearly, trace its origins, and choose a more thoughtful response. This sense of control, gained through the simple act of naming, can transform how you deal with even the most intense emotions. Imagine you're preparing for a major presentation at work or school. As the moment approaches, you notice the telltale signs of anxiety. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and there's a tight knot in your stomach. Anxiety is creeping in, threatening to take over your thoughts and actions. However, instead of succumbing to the feeling, you pause and name the emotion. I am feeling anxious because I fear I might fail. This simple act of naming does something profound. It brings clarity to what was previously a swirling storm of feelings. By recognizing that the fear of failure is driving your anxiety, you make it something tangible, something that can be understood and managed. You can now ask yourself, is this fear realistic? Or am I letting my worries get the best of me in this way? Naming the anxiety transforms it from an overpowering force into something manageable. You've taken control by acknowledging the root cause, allowing you to focus on preparing rationally for the presentation instead of being consumed by the emotion. This technique is not just a mental exercise, but a practice that can be applied in real time throughout your day. The process is simple but effective. First, pay attention to your body and mind. Are your shoulders tense? Is your breathing shallow? Are your thoughts racing? These are signals that an emotion is building up inside you. Once you recognize these signs, name the emotion you're experiencing. Say it out loud if possible. This is anger, or this is excitement, or this is frustration. By verbalizing the emotion, you make it concrete, something real that you can address. After naming it, take a moment to reflect on the cause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? For example, if you're frustrated, is it because you're stuck in traffic, or is there something deeper, like feeling out of control in your life? Understanding the root cause of the emotion helps you gain perspective, and this is crucial in Stoic practice. Finally, once you've named the emotion and identified its source, choose a rational response. Instead of reacting impulsively, let reason guide your actions. Consider how the Stoic virtues wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance can shape your response. For instance, if you recognize that you're angry because you feel disrespected, you might choose to address the issue calmly and rationally rather than lashing out. If you're feeling fear of failure, you can remind yourself that failure is not an end, but a chance to learn and grow. Throughout the day, this process of naming, understanding, and responding will become more intuitive. It may be helpful to keep a journal where you write down each emotional episode, the emotion you named, what caused it, and how you responded. Reflect on whether naming the emotion helped you maintain control and whether you were able to respond with clarity and reason. Over time, this practice will give you greater insight into your emotional patterns and help you become more adept at managing them. At the end of the day, take some time to reflect on your experiences. How many emotions were you able to successfully name today? Did naming them help you feel more in control? How did your responses change when you focused on reason instead of letting emotions dictate your actions? Were there any emotions that were particularly challenging to name? These reflections are crucial in solidifying the practice of naming emotions as a powerful tool for self-mastery. As you continue to practice, you'll likely find that certain emotions, such as anger or anxiety, become easier to manage after naming them, while others may take more time and reflection to fully understand. Through this simple act of naming, you are taking a significant step toward emotional mastery. Stoicism teaches that emotions are natural and inevitable, but they do not have to rule you. By bringing awareness to your emotions and naming them, you create a space between yourself and the feeling, a space where rational, measured responses can thrive. Today's exercise has empowered you to face your emotions head-on, understanding them rather than allowing them to control you. With continued practice, emotions will become less overwhelming, and your responses will be more aligned with your higher goals. Tomorrow, you will build upon this foundation, learning how to reframe your thinking and stay grounded in Stoic principles. Through this transformation, you'll find that mastering your emotions is not just about control, but about creating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Day 4, Rational Analysis. Let logic lead. In life, we often face decisions where our emotions cloud our judgment, leading us to make impulsive choices or experience unnecessary anxiety. Stoicism teaches us the value of pausing and using rational analysis as a powerful tool to enhance our decision-making process. By applying logic and reason to our choices, we can strip away emotional biases, allowing us to view situations more objectively. This approach enables us to make decisions based on wisdom rather than fear or desire. The Stoics believed that emotional decisions often lead to poor outcomes due to a lack of clarity and objectivity. To combat this tendency, they practiced rational analysis, a structured method for breaking down decisions and weighing the relevant facts. This involves logically assessing a situation, weighing potential pros and cons, and considering the worst-case scenario. By analyzing our decisions in this systematic manner, we can reduce the influence of irrational fears or overwhelming desires, leading to more thoughtful and balanced outcomes. Rational analysis is crucial because emotions, particularly fear, can distort our perception of reality. Challenges can seem more significant than they are, and risks can appear far more threatening than they might actually be. When we shift from emotional thinking to rational thinking, we can eliminate these distortions and make decisions that align with our long-term goals and overall well-being. This clarity reveals the true stakes involved in any decision and often demonstrates that the worst-case scenario is much less catastrophic than we initially imagined. To illustrate the effectiveness of rational analysis, consider the example of receiving a job offer that comes with greater responsibility. You might feel anxious about accepting this new position because you fear it may be too challenging. Rather than allowing fear to dictate your decision, Stoicism encourages you to adopt a rational approach. First, acknowledge the emotion at play, recognizing that fear is influencing your hesitation. Understanding that emotions like fear can distort your view of the opportunity is vital. Next, create a pros and cons list. Write down the benefits of accepting the job, such as a higher salary, career growth, and new challenges. Then, consider the drawbacks, including a steeper learning curve and potential stress. Once you have this information, contemplate the worst-case scenario. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? You might take the job and find it challenging, but the reality is that the worst outcome might simply involve not meeting all expectations, after which you could transition to another role. Reflecting on this scenario often reveals that it is far less frightening than it initially appeared. After laying out the pros and cons and evaluating the worst-case scenario, you are now in a position to make an informed decision. More often than not, the fear of failure becomes manageable when logically analyzed, and the benefits may outweigh the potential downsides. To further reinforce the practice of rational analysis, consider applying it to your daily decisions. Begin by identifying any emotions such as fear, anxiety, or excitement that might be influencing your choices. By labeling these emotions, you acknowledge their presence without acting on them impulsively. Next, break down each decision using a pros and cons list. For every choice, detail the positive and negative aspects as thoroughly as possible. Take into account practical details like time, effort, risk, and reward, and be vigilant for any biases where emotions might exaggerate either the positives or negatives. Finally, reflect on the worst-case scenario for each decision. Ask yourself, is the worst outcome as dire as my emotions suggest? Can I recover from it? Often you will find that the consequences you fear are not as disastrous as they seemed at first glance. Understanding this helps alleviate emotional burdens, making decision-making much easier. For instance, consider whether you should confront a friend about a disagreement. Fear might suggest that this confrontation will damage the relationship, but a rational analysis may reveal that avoiding the issue could be more harmful in the long run. The worst-case scenario, having an uncomfortable conversation, is entirely manageable. Similarly, when contemplating investing in a new skill or hobby, excitement might urge you to jump in headfirst. However, A rational analysis might indicate that you need to balance your time and financial resources. The worst-case scenario, perhaps losing a little time or money, might very well be worth the potential benefits of personal growth and fulfillment. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on how employing rational analysis has impacted your decision-making process. Consider whether breaking down decisions into pros and cons helped you gain clarity, whether contemplating the worst-case scenario reduced any emotional fears, and if any decision surprised you when viewed through the lens of logic rather than emotion. This reflection helps solidify the habit of employing rational analysis in your daily life, making decision-making progressively easier and less stressful while aligning with your long-term values. In conclusion, Stoicism teaches us that reason, rather than emotion, should guide our decision-making processes. While emotions can hold value, they frequently distort our perception of reality when left unchecked. By practicing rational analysis, we gain clarity and control, enabling us to make decisions based on logic, wisdom, and careful consideration. As you continue to apply rational analysis in your life, you will find that your choices align more closely with your goals, and the fears or anxieties surrounding your decisions will diminish. Embracing this Stoic perspective equips you with the tools necessary to reframe challenges as opportunities for growth, reinforcing resilience and promoting a healthier mindset in your everyday life. Day 5, aligning with your values, the integrity check. Imagine a life where every decision you make not only influences your present, but also shapes the person you become in the future. This is the heart of living in alignment with your values, a fundamental principle of Stoic philosophy. According to Stoicism, the most important battles we face are those within our minds. When we act with integrity, our decisions are driven by our principles rather than fleeting emotions or external pressures. Living this way leads to a life that is not just momentarily satisfying but deeply fulfilling in the long run. Stoicism isn't simply about enduring hardships or controlling emotions, it's about building a life centered on values. One of the most effective tools to help achieve this is the integrity check, a mental pause before making decisions. The idea is simple. Before taking action, ask yourself key questions that help ground you in your values. Does this action help me become the person I want to be, or will I respect myself after making this choice? These questions challenge us to think beyond the immediate rewards or conveniences and consider how our choices reflect who we are and who we aim to become. Take, for example, a situation where you're faced with the option to cut corners on a project at work. While this might save you time and reduce stress in the short term, it could also damage your reputation or conflict with your values of honesty and dedication. If you pause and ask yourself, does this choice reflect the person I want to be? The answer might make you reconsider taking the easy way out. By performing an integrity check, you are encouraged to take the morally sound path, even if it's more challenging. This decision, though difficult, strengthens your character and builds a mindset rooted in integrity. Over time, these small decisions accumulate and help form a resilient mind capable of resisting future temptations and pressures. Choosing to live with integrity is rarely the easiest path, but it is the most rewarding. By consistently aligning your actions with your values, you not only ensure that your decisions are true to who you are, but you also build a strong, principled mindset. This practice trains your mind to focus on what truly matters, helping you make choices that you can stand behind with pride. Ultimately, aligning your life with your values transforms how you approach every decision. Each time you pause to reflect on whether your actions are in harmony with your principles, you strengthen both your character and your mindset. The integrity check is more than just a tool for better decision-making, it's a way of life. By consistently asking yourself, does this enhance my values and will I respect myself afterward? You lay the foundation for a life of integrity, where every choice you make is one you can be proud of. If you're ready to take control of your decisions and live a life that reflects your true self, start applying the integrity check today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, begin now with the next decision you face. As you practice aligning your actions with your core values, you'll find not only that your life feels more meaningful, but that you're building mental strength to overcome whatever challenges come your way. A life lived with integrity is a life lived fully, and it's within your reach, one decision at a time. Day 6, Embracing Discomfort, the Growth Mindset. Have you ever turned down an opportunity just because it made you feel scared or uncomfortable? It's a natural reaction. We all tend to avoid things that push us out of our comfort zones. But here's an interesting thought, that discomfort, the very thing we try to avoid, might actually be the key to unlocking our potential. On this journey of personal growth, particularly through the lens of Stoicism, we learn that discomfort is not our enemy. Instead, it's a powerful force that can fuel our growth if we embrace it. Life is filled with challenges that make us uneasy. It could be the anxiety before giving a presentation at work, the stress of taking on a new responsibility, or the fear of failure in a task you've never attempted before. These feelings are universal, and they often cause us to withdraw. But the Stoics teach us to view these moments differently. They argue that discomfort is not something to shy away from, but rather an inevitable and necessary part of life. By facing adversity head-on, we equip ourselves with the tools to grow stronger and more resilient. The key is in our mindset. How we choose to interpret and respond to these difficult moments defines our growth. Imagine you're at work and you've been given the opportunity to present a new idea to top executives. The thought of standing in front of these powerful individuals fills you with fear. Your first instinct is to say no, to avoid the risk of embarrassment or failure. But what if, instead of running from this challenge, you embraced it? What if you recognized that the very discomfort you feel is the signal that you're on the verge of growth? With the Stoic mindset, you understand that by confronting this fear, you are training yourself for bigger challenges in the future. This concept of training for life is central to Stoic philosophy. Each time we step into discomfort, we train our minds to become more adaptable, more capable of facing whatever life throws at us. It's not about avoiding fear, but learning how to face it and grow from it. By choosing to deliver that presentation despite your anxiety, you're not just completing a task, you're transforming your mindset. You realize, once it's over, that the fear you once felt was just a barrier your mind created. In reality, it was the very thing that pushed you to grow. The magic of embracing discomfort lies in the change it brings to your brain and mindset. When we choose to face challenges, our minds start to rewire themselves. Instead of defaulting to avoidance, we become more comfortable with uncertainty and discomfort. We build confidence and resilience, knowing that we've faced difficulties before and survived. Each experience makes the next one easier, not because the challenges are smaller, but because we've grown stronger. Next time you're faced with a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, remember that this is where your growth happens. It's not in the easy tasks or the things you're already good at. It's in the moments that stretch you, challenge you, and make you question your limits. The Stoics would say that the true battle is within your own mind. By embracing discomfort, you're not just training yourself to handle today's challenges, but you're preparing for anything that comes your way in the future. In the end, discomfort is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It's a sign that you're stepping into a growth zone. When we confront what scares us, we become more resilient, adaptable, and ready for whatever lies ahead. So the next time you feel that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach, take a moment to recognize it for what it is: a powerful opportunity to reprogram your mindset for growth. It's time to stop avoiding and start embracing. The more you face discomfort head-on, the more you'll discover your greatest potential lies in the very things you fear. Day 7, Reflection and Continuous Improvement, your post-mortem analysis. In the journey of personal transformation, one of the most powerful tools at our disposal is the practice of self-reflection. This practice allows us to pause, look back, and assess our actions and decisions. At the end of each week, taking the time to engage in a post-mortem analysis can significantly enhance our growth and understanding of ourselves, especially when viewed through the lens of Stoicism. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reflection as a means to cultivate wisdom and personal growth. It teaches us that by systematically reviewing our actions and mindset, we can identify both our successes and our shortcomings. This reflective practice is not merely a ritual, it serves as a foundation for ongoing self-improvement. By examining our experiences, whether positive or negative, we turn each moment into an opportunity for learning and development. When we engage in post-mortem analysis, we create a structured framework that allows us to critically evaluate how we have acted throughout the week. This analysis encourages us to take personal accountability, helping us learn from each situation rather than moving on without introspection. It serves as a safeguard against the dangers of complacency and repetition of past mistakes. Without regular reflection, we risk overlooking areas where we can grow, potentially repeating errors that could have been avoided. Reflection plays a crucial role in how well we embody Stoic virtues like wisdom, temperance, courage, and justice. By thoughtfully considering our actions, we gain insight into what is working in our lives and what requires adjustment. This ongoing process of self-examination keeps us on the path of improvement, enabling us to align more closely with our values and principles. To illustrate the effectiveness of post-mortem analysis, let's consider a practical scenario. Imagine you have dedicated a week to practicing Stoic principles, pausing before reacting, managing your emotions, and applying rational thought to your decisions. As the week draws to a close, you find it essential to reflect on how successfully you integrated these principles into your daily life. Begin by acknowledging your successes. Take a moment to recognize the instances when you effectively applied Stoic teachings. Perhaps there was a stressful situation at work where you paused before responding, leading to a calm and rational outcome. Celebrating these victories reinforces positive behavior and motivates you to continue striving for growth. Next, it is vital to examine your failures. Reflect on any moments when emotions or impulses may have taken over. Did you find yourself reacting impulsively in a heated discussion with a family member? Did fear prevent you from confronting a challenge head-on? Identifying these areas of struggle is just as important as recognizing your successes, as they provide valuable insights into where you can improve. As you analyze your experiences, ask yourself what you learned from each situation. For example, if you successfully managed your emotions during a tough conversation, consider how pausing and naming the emotion helped you maintain control. On the other hand, if you struggled with a decision, identify the underlying fears that influenced your response. This step is crucial in fostering self-awareness, as understanding the reasons behind our actions can help us make more informed choices in the future. Once you have reflected on your successes and failures, it's time to plan for improvement. Use the insights gained from your analysis to strategize how you will apply Stoic principles more effectively in the coming week. Identify specific areas where you wish to grow and outline actionable steps to handle similar situations differently next time. This could mean committing to pause more frequently when faced with emotional challenges or setting aside time to confront fears directly. As you engage in this weekly post-mortem analysis, set aside dedicated time for reflection. Find a quiet space and take approximately 15 minutes to review the significant events of the week. Consider the decisions you made, the challenges you encountered, and the emotional responses that arose. Documenting these reflections in a journal can provide clarity and structure to your thoughts. As part of your analysis, reflect on how well you applied Stoic practices, such as emotional awareness and rational decision-making. Ask yourself where you succeeded and where you fell short, and try to understand the reasons behind your responses. Extract key lessons from each experience, focusing on how specific situations challenged your Stoic practice. By the end of your post-mortem analysis, take a moment to appreciate the wisdom you've gained from this reflective process. Remember that Stoicism is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing continuous improvement. Each week offers new opportunities for growth, and the lessons learned through reflection bring you closer to living in alignment with your highest values. In conclusion, Making post-mortem analysis a habitual practice is essential for sustained personal development. It allows you to transform every success and failure into a learning opportunity, deepening your understanding of yourself and your reactions. By committing to this exercise each week, you foster a habit of self-examination that cultivates wisdom, resilience, and emotional balance, key elements of the Stoic way of life. As you continue this practice, you sharpen your ability to live with reason and virtue, ultimately changing your mindset for the better. Each reflection contributes to your ongoing journey of personal transformation, guiding you toward a more meaningful and fulfilling life. In just 7 days, you've embarked on a remarkable journey of transformation. You've shifted your mindset, learned to control your emotions, and embraced the Stoic way of life. But remember, this is only the beginning. Continue practicing these Stoic principles, and watch as your life evolves in ways you never thought possible. Every challenge you face, every emotion you experience, and every decision you make is now an opportunity for growth. So start today, take what you've learned and apply it to your daily life. Change your mind, and you will change your life. The wisdom of Stoicism is a powerful tool at your disposal. Make every day count, and let each moment be an opportunity to live with greater purpose and clarity. If you found value in this video, please comment with the number 1 to let us know. Don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more insightful content on Stoicism and personal growth. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to seeing you again.